tell you what. Oh man, the best one ever. I've got 3. I got 3 top 10.
I made her drink some hot sauce first.
There it was. And then she had ice cubes. And then she took the Bengay. And I don't know why it's Bengay. But it was straight. It was totally heterosexual at the time. All right. Is that going to cut off the top of my head? Do you think I should, for fear, you're the AV guy, should I drop that a little bit? Just move that back slightly?
I would just bring the
Angle it up.
Not angle, but elevate it.
It doesn't. I know you can elevate it. You can bring the legs closer together.
Yeah, there you go.
And then straight.
That doesn't go any higher? Stem doesn't go any higher?
Nah, it's kind of messed up, isn't it? It doesn't. It should, right?
It's meant for another camera apparatus to be on there.
Yeah. It's made for like the still frame. And now is my head getting blinded out? I'll just tilt it slightly. Well, that's one thing I noticed with the other one.
If we get something, you can elevate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can elevate it up. You think that's good?
It's not bad.
Do you want to elevate it?
It's up to you.
Oh yeah, actually here I can elevate it.
But if you
Switch your love on a son of good. That no, we mess up too if it's not.
that's better.
Okay.
And then bring it over here more.
Is that gonna cut you out of the picture? No, actually that's pretty good. Maybe I should.
Now we're both equal.
Yeah. I like having
You
the.
can afford to go back a little bit.
Yeah. Okay,
You know
cool.
what I
I think that's it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're comfortable with your whole enough for your body in the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right.
Now that's my good side.
Like Mariah, supposedly Mariah Carey only had like one good side. Or you ever see those the selfie girls? Every picture is like the same, and you're like,
What the other side looks like. What does the other gluteal look like?
Yeah, there's like, there's definitely something you can tell who's mentally sane by the amount of selfies. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like sad because you see certain people like all they have are selfies,
Right.
selfies, and you're like, you're not
A little
picking up.
narcissistic.
Yeah, and you're not picking up on like this OCD repetitiveness.
Yeah, this pattern of
yeah.
behavior that's.
Now we're talking about this. Hey, how are you? This is Interviews with Pat, and I'm with Trey Fannin. Trey, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Patrick?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a Sunday afternoon, COVID
Absolutely.
time.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
happy to hear that.
We're in the world of COVID. I've started a new interview series, and Trey is a personal trainer like myself. Trey's been training for how long?
20 years.
20 years.
Yes, sir.
And prior to that?
College, and before that, military.
United States military. And
Yes,
you
sir.
said you were in Mogadishu?
Oh, one of my tours was Mogadishu. Yeah.
All right, so initially I met Trey on Veterans Day. We wanted to include his time as a veteran in our interviews, but unfortunately technical issues prevented us from doing that. So just want to say thanks to Trey and happy belated Veterans Day, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for giving me a reason to serve.
There you go. Well, I did not have the reason. There wasn't. I did not set up, but something.
Whenever somebody says to me, "Thank you for your service," I always respond that way because I feel like
You're doing
I
that.
didn't serve to be thanked for it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I'm not.
There was a need that you filled. Someone needed.
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to do that job, but and that's kind of why I went. That's one of the reasons why I went. Another reason is because my family's heavily military oriented, just because of my family history. So that was a huge influence on me. My father, my grandfather, my brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Where did your father? Was he a veteran too?
yeah, he was in the Navy,
Uh huh.
and my brother was an Army Ranger.
And grandfather?
My grandfather served with General Patton's Brigade in World War II.
Ooh, so really, where was he at the time? So that was.
The Battle of the Bulge.
Uh-huh.
All his entire platoon was wiped out except for him because he contracted white fever, and like a month before that battle.
Uh-huh.
So he got sent back to the rear, which back then was in France, like probably, I wouldn't say at Normandy, but closer to Normandy.
Right.
And so he was sent back while his platoon became involved in that battle, which was a surprise attack by the German forces. So, so he was back there recovering, and then his whole platoon got wiped out during that battle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I just finished watching the Grant biography on TV.
Okay. Yeah.
And interesting. I learned a lot more about the Civil War than I knew before. But there's the one battle that I was really taken aback by was the battle called the Wilderness.
Oh yeah.
Which that just sounded
Horrific.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it any further, but if you really want to find out about some place you're really happy you missed out by time, like, yeah, that's one place you didn't want to be in 1865.
The reason why is because of all the artillery amongst the trees, and the trees were the worst part of the artillery barrages that took place. It wasn't the artillery barrage itself, the cannonballs. It was the cannonballs hitting the trees and splintering the trees and creating more shrapnel, wood byproduct shrapnel.
Which then caught on fire.
Which caught a fire, killed people by...
Right, and then people who couldn't get out of the way were basically burnt to death if they couldn't...
And then the trees just splintering and then creating more fragments to, create damage.
Yeah, that's... Well, we complain about the COVID situation, and honestly, I have to say, I'd much rather wear a mask than have to be stuck in that situation where
Yes,
that was somewhere in Virginia or
Yes, sir.
where,
Yes, sir.
where that was when Grant and who was this? Do you know who the Southern? I think Ulysses S. Grant was the leader of the Union
right?
side.
I don't know if Robert E. Lee was anywhere near the Wilderness Battle. I don't believe he was, but I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I don't think he was, because I don't think they didn't meet at Appomattox. Did they only meet? Was there a battle at Appomattox first before the signing?
Yes, the farmhouse. There was a farmhouse that was near that was used as headquarters by, I believe, General Lee. And I can't remember where Grant was, but that house is, I think, been placed in the historical society landmarks.
Right.
And Appomattox Courthouse was where the treaty, the ceasefire and the peace accords were signed, I believe, right?
Right.
And that is also, that's actually, isn't that part of the, wasn't that part of Grant's land, his estate? Wasn't that part of his estate?
As you're saying this, what's going through my mind is what I remember. Isn't Arlington National Ceremony Lee's former estate?
Yeah, Lee's.
Robert E. Lee's
former estate, and Appomattox Courthouse is near there, isn't it? Not?
I think it is. I think because Lee was a general of the Army of Northern Virginia or something like that, and
which became the commander of the entire Confederate forces.
So what did they do at those times? Like people would raise their own armies that's what I've read a lot about Civil War. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And you have the Grant had these different armies that he was running in Illinois and things like that. Running these, he was trying to control the Mississippi, from what I gathered.
Right.
And while we had all these other Union generals that were failing out on the East Coast, losing battle up until Gettysburg.
Right.
And then things changed around a little bit, but. I don't know, it's pretty interesting.
I used to read about Civil War constantly when I was a little kid, and then I kind of fell off that a little bit and started reading other types of material. So mostly I got into fantasy fiction, and then historical fiction.
Oh yeah, I love historical fiction.
Yeah, and then I got into more biography.
There's one of my historical fiction writers that I like a lot. It's this guy, Bernard Cornwell, and he writes all these great things about redcoats and what it was like to be a soldier in the British Army during the time of the Napoleonic Wars, when they occupied India, and then also they have a series of during the Revolutionary War in America. Right. So, but Trey, I just want to say thanks for your service. Happy Veterans Day. A little late. Hopefully we can get this out there. And that's where we are. All right, this is Pat, and I'm doing interviews. This is interviews with Trey today. How are you, Trey?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Trey, you're a personal trainer here in New York?
Yes, sir.
Like myself as well. And how long have you been a trainer?
20 years.
And how old are you?
50.
50. It's a whole new world, right?
From
from when you first started training or exercising yourself to how you're exercising now? Is it different?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
What do you think are the key ingredients of fitness?
Depending on what your goals are, first you want to set goals, and then to achieve those goals, have a plan. And then after you have a plan, if you don't know how to initiate your plan or facilitate your plan, you want to find somebody that can help you do that. And then consistency would be next. And then you also want to consider diet as well.
Right.
But consistency, diet, and then I would say evolution.
Meaning your genetics or how your
I would say evolution in your approach to
how your
achieving
exercise
your target.
evolves and so
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Evolution of your means of achieving fitness.
So good thing. I mean, today now I know I do, and I don't know about you, but I do fitness coaching with people, which is a little less. It's more lazy. Like, so you're saying you have a goal, and I'm there as a fitness coach. I help facilitate the goal, where it might be either by training, it might be by prescribing workouts, or it just might be just making phone calls and text message to make sure that people adhere to their program.
Okay.
Is that something, so that's another way that I've been keeping busy or helping my clients or people that are trying to get in shape throughout the coronavirus. Sort of just a little bit before the coronavirus outbreak, but I really was able to put it to use in the last 6 months. And
Yeah, absolutely. I completely correlate with that. Basically, since gyms shut down, we were forced to implement other means of education for our clients and achieving exposure to new clients. Hopefully we find new clients somehow, and that was taken away from us because the gym shut down. And so you naturally have clients coming in and looking, or people that are potential clients coming in looking for help to achieve their fitness goals, and that was shut down. So how do we achieve exposure, continued exposure? So what we've had to do here in New York is just New York City and other places too. I'm sure LA and high metro areas, we're all facing the same problem, or the same challenge, I should say. So how we overcome that challenge or address that challenge is to figure out, find ways to create opportunities for exposure. So the internet obviously is the way to go. And what I've done is word of mouth, a lot of word of mouth from my clients to their families, to their friends, people that they know that need help. Talk to them, and word of mouth goes a long way. And then the other way is online advertising, creating content so that people see it and say, hey, if I can help you, please give me a call or shoot me a text message, and I'll answer you, and I'll try to help you as much as I can. Point you in the right direction at least, give you some advice, and try to help you overcome your challenge, whatever challenge you're facing. We're here to help you. That's what we do.
How can people get in touch with you? Do you go by email, or do you have a web page?
I use a Facebook page now. It's called Fannin's Fitness Freaks.
Fannin, F-A-N-N-I-N
'*S. Fitness Freaks. Yeah, so that's
Fannin's Fitness. Okay, it was possessive. It was proper use of grammar. Nice job. We'll bump around there. There you go.
So it's important, So I use that medium to try to facilitate a little bit of exposure, and then also just we want to help people and let them know that we're here to help them through the internet. And so I use Facebook. I'm going to be creating my own Facebook page. My own internet page, web page.
The YouTube page?
I have a YouTube, but I don't really use it right now just because I'm trying to use Facebook more.
Right.
But I'm going to create my own internet web page eventually, and initiate that and get that going, and so I can put as much content on there as I want without having parameters set. Like Instagram is only 60 seconds and that kind of thing. So it's not really beneficial from my point of view to generate traffic. You can show what you do, but I think it's too much limitation there. So I'm going to go the web page route and try try to expand my reach that way.
Okay, cool. So, how are you guys? This is Interviews with Pat. I'm with Trey Fannin of Fannin's Fitness Freaks. How are you again?
I'm good.
Good. So, Trey, just like myself, or maybe not like myself, you're struggling, or I'm struggling with being over 50 years old. And it's not so much, I mean, my mind isn't struggling because my mind still thinks I'm 32. Sure. And my mind still wants to do the things that I did when I was 32. And when I, fall asleep at night, I have absolutely no pain in my hips when I'm running or anything like that. That's my recurring dream. That is the bane of my existence. Is I played football my whole life through college, and when I dream at night, I'm on the sideline. The coach calls me. I have to get into the game, and I can't find my helmet. So that's a problem with my dreams. My problem with my reality is the breakdown of my body since I turned, in my somewhere in my 40s, a lot of little minor aches and injuries that turned into tendonitis, then turned into arthritis, and now have turned into limited ranges of mobility and other issues like that. How are your workouts changing for yourself, and how about workouts for your clients that are over 50, or people that aren't CrossFit's main goal or main audience?
Okay, so I tend to not
Categorize people.
I don't tend to limit people's activities just based upon their age, or like you said, categorize or discriminate.
Well, would you say this is, and I'm trying to put words in your mouth, obviously, with this, but what about giving people more time to, I think the thing that I have an issue with is that I like to work out, and I like to work out really hard, but the problem is sometimes I work out 2 days in a row hard, when at this age, I think that, that might be part of my issue. I'm trying to figure out, actually, guys, and this is part of the thing, is I'm trying to interview people. How do you stay fit, agile? How do you age gracefully? A lot of us are aging athletes. We're people that we've been in shape our whole lives. We've always scored the top of the class in, the President's Physical Fitness Award. I did 151 push-ups in ninth grade, by the way. Just want to let everybody know. It was actually 11th grade, but to bump up my stats a little.
Absolutely.
It was 6th grade, kids. So so that's the whole thing. Is there anything that you're doing differently? Because I'm trying to learn myself and trying to figure out how I can age gracefully as well as my clients. Your turn.
Okay, so when I have a client or a potential client that is of a certain age, I don't really pay attention to their age so much as their abilities. So if I have somebody that's when I'm assessing them, I don't really pay attention to their age at all, really. I mean, I acknowledge it, of course,
right.
But when a lot of people will say during an assessment, during an interview process, I'll say, how old are you? What are your diagnostics? How much do you weigh?
Yeah.
Body fat count, all that kind of stuff. They tend to go into this mental place where age is a restrictive element that is going to stop them from achieving something that they want, or is going to slow them down. And I am the first person to dispel that rather quickly. And I'll say, you know what? I don't really want to put the emphasis on how old you are, because I can see, or I can recognize that might be a point of apprehension for them. So at their age, to me, means I have to pay attention to their ability at that age a little bit more, make sure I don't ask them to do something more based upon their health rather than their age. So when you say, how do I age gracefully over 50 with fitness in mind, I'm going to say increase your ability as much as you can, no matter how old you are.
I've been thinking about 15 years ago, they did studies with men in their 60s and over 65, and it was based on protein supplements, supplementation after workouts, prior to workouts, after the workouts. But the ancillary benefit they found out from it is that men at older ages still can put on muscle mass.
Sure.
And that's really important because it keeps your resting metabolism up, and so you're burning calories when you're sleeping. And another thing that I wanted to add is that I've been teaching fitness classes for 20 years now, and it's really remarkable how the older age demographic will take my class, and they do a pretty good job, and they really breeze through it. And then I'll get like a young guy who can bench press 315, can squat 475, and he takes my class and he's puking within 5 minutes because it's a different type of training than what they're doing. So I'm just saying that there are, we all have you find your niche that you're really good at, and then you work with it from there.
Yeah.
So, hook that back up. Sorry, a little technical error right there. All right.
All right, so what do we got?
I'll just edit that and I'll
Yeah.
cut it through
So
from
make sure I
there.
got the right,
The side on. Cool. All right, yeah, cool. Hey, how are you guys? This is Interviews with Pat. I'm with Trey Fannin of Fannin's Fitness Freaks. And Trey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Good. Just getting back to what we're talking about. How about we're saying the COVID? How has COVID affected your business? Say, are as many people working out with you?
No, and that's mostly because the gym that I would frequent, or that I was an employee of, basically closed down.
Which was?
New York Health and Racquet Club.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty big. New York Health and Racquet Club was probably one of the initial gyms, like back in the 80s, when you had, the Jane Fonda workouts and Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical, whatever that was. And you're supposed to join in, man.
I don't know that song.
You don't know physical?
I know that song.
Come on.
I don't have a singing voice right now. I didn't warm up.
Jeez.
New York Health and Racquet Club, that location I was at 13th Street off of University Place, is famous for
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld, right. So Jerry Seinfeld episodes, whenever there was a gym scene, they would always use my location facade for that scene to initiate that scene, and then of course that scene was filmed in a studio somewhere, not filmed in our gym, but they would use the facade of 13th Street location for that episode. So
there was a few episodes. There was like 5 episodes.
Especially with that baseball player for the Mets. What was his name? The guy with the mustache?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But he was in there, was a lot.
I want to say Lee Mazzilli, but it wasn't.
No.
It was,
he was the sportscaster for the Mets.
I know, he's a sportscaster.
And he played for him.
Yeah, and it was with the spitting incident or something like that. Jerry becomes friends with him, and then he asks out Elaine, and then Jerry gets like jealous that he's asking out Elaine.
Okay.
And
I didn't watch Jerry Seinfeld a whole lot, but I know there was a lot of.
Well, you're from Kansas, right?
No, I'm from California.
You're from California originally?
I went to college in Kansas and spent 5 years in Kansas.
So as someone that's not a New Yorker, could you relate to Seinfeld? Or now do you relate to it more as someone that lives in a...
Well, I didn't watch Seinfeld that much.
Uh-huh.
I'm just aware of the significance of that facade of 13th Street location.
All right.
That's all.
But I know that.
But I do know, I've seen a few episodes, maybe more than a few, but I wasn't like a huge fan.
I was more of a fan of it for repeats, on the 11 p.m. and things like that. Right. Hey, so what are the demographics of your clients? So let me do this again. Hey, this is Interviews with Pat. I'm with Trey Fannin of Fannin's Fitness Freaks. Trey, we were talking about our clients, and Trey's a personal trainer here in New York for over 20 years. Demographics of your clients, who are you training, or what?
Well, I'll train anybody that would like to get training, but I do have a niche, if you want to call it that, where I help folks that are recovering from surgery. So after post-rehab is where I step in. So post-rehab client is going to come to the gym after he's seen his physical therapist and seek my my training.
So basically you're just, so that's pretty cool, because what happens lots of times is our insurance company only pays for a certain amount of visits with our physical therapist. The physical therapist has a business that's based, there's 4 or 5 physical therapists, but there's 16 people in the room. They allot their time throughout for whoever. They give you a few different ideas. And what I know, and I'm a personal trainer, and I've been for shoulder stuff, hip stuff, they give me a few exercises. The exercises really work. Then I don't use the exercises because my arm feels better, and then I totally forget the exercises. So it's like, learn them, feel better, forget them.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do.
Learn them, feel better, stop doing them, then forgetting them.
And then re-injure it or have a relapse.
And I think one of the biggest things that I work with 3 different physical therapists, and one of the biggest things is that they give me the instructions of what to carry forward with my clients and to going to. That's
exactly what I do as well. I have a physical therapist that I like to either send my clients to if they need help, which happens sometimes. They come to me with a problem, and then they haven't seen a physical therapist, or they've had surgery and they just opted not to go see the physical therapist, which is exactly the wrong thing to do. So I'll send them to a physical therapist that I hold in high regard, and then she'll facilitate their recovery, and then she'll send them back to me. Her name is Stephanie Payne of House of Pain. She's down in the East Village. A little plug for her. She's awesome. Stephanie Payne. If you guys look her up in New York City and you're looking for an awesome physical therapist, and she's a sports therapist. She's not just a regular physical therapist, she's a sports therapist. So she's got that on her side, which is amazing. And she has a huge following, and I met her because I need help for myself. So Stephanie Payne of House of Pain in the East Village, New York City. Go see her if you have problems.
That sounds pretty good. Cool. Give me 1 sec. We're going to do 3 seconds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce, bring you back into that whole topic, and we'll try to get in 2 minutes. Okay. Hey, how are you? This is Interviews with Pat. I'm with Trey Fannin, personal trainer, and Fannin's Fitness Freaks. I'll just do that one again. Hey, this is Pat. Interviews with Pat, and I'm with Trey Fannin, Fannin's Fitness Freaks. And one of the things I want to talk about is post-rehab, after you go see a physical therapist, and the benefits of working with a trainer after seeing a therapist. Trey, you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. When we work with clients that have seen a physical therapist and are looking for help after the physical therapy, that's when folks would come and look for me because I specialize in that. Post-rehab specialist, that's my niche. But I do general fitness training, obviously, but this is a huge passion of mine. Getting people from post-rehab surgery and post-rehab recovery to 100% recovery.
Right.
And then continue on with their fitness goals. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I found, which is, I've used physical therapy a few times myself, but your insurance only pays for so much. And so you go to a physical therapist, they analyze, they figure out, evaluate you, figure out what your problem is, they give you a few exercises, then you start feeling better, then you stop doing those exercises, and then when your injury comes back, then you totally forget what those exercises were. So it's like, you feel pain, you go for someone to tell you what the pain is, they tell you the exercises, you feel better, then you stop doing those exercises, you forgot the exercises, and then you're back in the physical therapist or the doctor's office again. So using a personal trainer, the benefits of that is the physical therapist can then prescribe a workout routine that you can do with your trainer going forward while you're rehabbing, and then the personal trainer can also, on the other side, help escalate your fitness, right? Let your fitness pattern evolve, I guess was something you said is one of your big things.
Well, a physical therapist's goal is to get your body back to 100% range of motion, whatever problem you're having. Their primary concern is get your body back, or your limb, your body, whatever is problematic, get that back to 100% range of motion. It's not to get you stronger. You're going to get stronger as a byproduct of their treatment. However, the primary objective is not to get your muscle mass increase. Right. You're not going to get stronger. You're going to get better at probably balancing your body, posture, corrections, this type of thing, or overcoming a injury that you cannot treat yourself. You don't know how to treat yourself. So you're going to go see a physical therapist or a sports therapist, and a sports therapist is a little more detail oriented in creating a process for you to recover, especially if you're an athlete. Okay, but you don't have to be an athlete to go see a sports therapist. I actually enjoy seeing sports therapists more than just a regular physical therapist, because a sports therapist is a little bit more one-on-one. I feel, that's my opinion based on experience. So a sports therapist is a little bit more to my liking. So I'm going to go see a sports therapist, or search for one and find one. And I do have a sports therapist that I see and I send my clients to. Her name is Stephanie Payne of the House of Pain in the East Village of New York City. I send all my clients to her, and she does feed me back some of her clients that are seeking to get stronger after their treatment with her. Okay,
cool. So that's interesting. So, the big thing. So what you're saying. Okay, great. Cool. I got that. Okay, cool. Trey, I gotta really wrap this up right now and go to my other thing. So, hey, this is Pat with Interviews with the Trainer. I'm with Trey Fannin of Fannin's Fitness Freaks, And one of the big things I just learned from Trey is that when you go see a physical therapist, it's really to just get your range of motion back and to get you what you need to get to, and then
you create your posture if there's posture inadequacies,
yeah.
balance inadequacies, or range of motion inadequacies. Yeah.
So that's cool. All right, I gotta teach a class right now. I'm like
Okay.
2 minutes late. I don't know
Okay.
if you want. I mean, if you want to wait like 45 minutes, we could do something again.